Hello, and welcome in.
What's going on? Hey.
Yeah, welcome in to episode 2 of the Too Good for Radio podcast. I'm Mike. The other voice you hear there is
Hi,
Molson.
I'm Johnny. What's going on?
Yeah, that's Johnny. And we welcome you into this second episode. Once again, we're going to look around the world of Ask Reddit, found some interesting questions, start some interesting discussions, and also...
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah,
Boy, will this be interesting.
Enthralling as well.
Yeah.
Another new segment we're adding, though, is... kind of like Steve Harvey just made himself a judge. Mm-hmm. I'm just making you a judge.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so Judge Johnny said over the case of, did I handle the Jeremy Renner situation correctly?
Okay.
If you missed it, I was able to meet Jeremy Renner over this past weekend. So we'll get into that at the end. That'll be the new segment of Judge Johnny. But we begin with the Ask Reddit, This Week in Ask Reddit. And I love this one because knowing you and I, these are going to be some great stories. The question was... You couldn't help it. It just came out. What was the time you laughed at a completely inappropriate time? Mm-hmm. You're sitting there and it just, you can't help yourself. Something happens and and in those moments, you shouldn't laugh, but you can't help but laugh in those particular moments. For you, what is it?
Well, and the one that I'm thinking about too is I started laughing thinking that it was funny, but it wasn't supposed to be funny at all. So it wasn't like I was like snickering when it wasn't supposed to be. I was like, I thought he was telling a funny story.
Oh no!
And then I started, So
oh no! What was this? What was the story?
Was meeting with a potential client who was a jeweler, and he starts talking about that he's got these direct connections to the diamond mines in South Africa. Sorry.
All right, we're already out of.
It's a blood diamond story. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
No, and so the conversation starts to go in that direction. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Gosh, you're buying direct from these mines, and you've got a buyer there who's there for you. And so I start. It's like, wow, tell me a little bit more about this guy. Is it someone that we can use in the advertising? And he says, with a straight face, and what he says, no. He was trampled to death by a herd of giraffes.
Oh, yeah. By a herd of giraffes? Not even a... I could not help but laugh at that either. I didn't know that was a thing.
I know.
Are there wild giraffes running around?
Sounds like such a cartoon. You know, because giraffes seem so docile. They just walk around. They eat leaves. They don't do much of anything.
No.
And suddenly in your brain, you've got this, 28 of them just barreling down on this poor son of a bitch and mowed him down, I guess.
Oh my God! I would have lost it there too.
And in the cartoons when you just see like a cloud and there's feet,
right? Exactly.
That's immediately what came to mind, and that was it. He got snuffed out by a bunch of giraffes, which is just such. That's just not a good story to.
No,
that's just not a really. That's not. Gosh, I was fighting off some rrhinos or a boa constrictor wrapped around, and I was able to untangle.
Or I grabbed it right from the mouth of a lion or whatever, right in their den. It just happened to be, but a bunch of giraffes
it's
trampled
like saying penguins attacked him or something. I mean, it just doesn't. It didn't make sense in my head. So I start laughing like an idiot, but apparently. It was this guy's friend.
Oh,
he was friends with this dude. He was his buyer down in South Africa. And I immediately saw his face get really somber. I was like, "Hi,
isn't that the worst? When
my condolences to your
There's no coming back from that, right? You just have to lean into it. You just have to lean into the laugh. There's no coming back. Like for me, it's happened more than I care to admit. Like. And I shouldn't, but in situations when I'm in Disney and there's the freak out going on, right? And I can't. These people are so angry, and you just can't help but just chuckle.
Yeah, because of the happiest place on earth, and they are so disproportionately mad at something.
The one that got me the most was I'm standing in line to get food at some cart or whatever it may be. And there's a family of about 5, and they're trying to go over their plans. And you could tell, they're on their you could already tell they're on their last leg. Like this was supposed to be the trip that was supposed to bring the family together, and it's not working. Mm. So they're discussing what to do next, and just out of nowhere, a kid of no more than about 8 years old yells, this is the kind of crap I'm talking about. This family sucks. And he spikes a water bottle as if it was a football and just throws it down, right? And I start to chuckle, but the dad becomes an Incredible Hulk. Right. And like, we've all seen that when you were a kid, if you saw that face of fear and the kid goes to run. So he's running off and the dad's like, you're not getting. And so all this is happening and you can just tell I shouldn't be laughing, but I am losing it.
How could you not?
I am losing it. And everyone else is like trying to keep a safe, like, oh, this is, what's going on? It's so serious. I'm just laughing.
The kid just divorced his family at Disney World.
And so I am laughing so wholeheartedly. And so finally he gets it and they leave the line or whatever. And the best part is the couple of people that weren't laughing, I turn around and they go, thank you for laughing at that. They're like, someone had to do it, and it just couldn't be us because we have kids back home that could have been in that situation. So I felt validated in that particular laughing. But that was a time where I felt I shouldn't be laughing as wholeheartedly as I am in this situation.
Whenever anybody is having a public meltdown, that is particularly when it is completely disproportionate to whatever offense they think they've felt.
Yes.
That is immediately hilarious.
Yeah. Speaking of offense, we always have taken offense to pineapple on pizza.
Sure.
Because it's not a fruit salad. Which leads us to the next question from This Week in Ask Reddit is, what's an underrated pizza topping? I'm going to hit you with one.
Okay.
And you feel free
to judge. I'm still stewing on mine, so go ahead.
Feel free to judge, and feel free, obviously, in the comments below if you're listening to this via Facebook, wherever it may be, or smash that like button. Are we supposed to say that over and over? Yeah, subscribe and smash that like button. And ring the bell. Yeah, ring the bell to get more updates when we go live. I think that's a thing they say.
Visit our sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. Please do at ZipRecruiter. and boom.
That's right. You get 10% off Peloton if you click here now.
Just use the code Too Good for Radio.
Yeah.
So for me, banana peppers is an underrated pizza topping.
Sure.
Because you get a zing from it.
Yeah, banana peppers, that's good.
Okay, see, I thought more people would be judgy on that. Like
more people, it's just you and me sitting here.
You're right. I'm expecting the studio audience that we don't have to chime in. Because my wife, when I first started putting banana peppers on pizza, kind of looked at me weird. It's like, don't get that near my. It's like, all it's going to do is add a little bit of zing to the pizza.
Right.
It's a fine, underrated topping.
I was in Chicago once at one of the big deep dish places, might have been Uno's or one of them, and ordered a garlic pizza.
Okay.
And what I didn't realize was that when they said garlic pizza, it was pretty much a pizza made of garlic. It was just garlic. It was just a slice. Basically, you were having a slice of garlic.
Oh, not that I don't mind garlic in my pizza.
No,
was it like in all its different forms? Was it like minced, or was it just like giant
garlic,
just like the giant bean-looking garlic?
It was absolute garlic.
Oh God.
Whatever they did, there was no other flavor in there. Spinach, I think, is good on a pizza.
Yeah, spinach is underrated. What do you feel about when you get the margarita pizza and the basil? Do you like it whole leaf?
I like the basil leaves.
Do you like the leaves?
That's a nice little surprise.
See, I don't like the leaves. I want the kind of the basil strips.
Yeah.
I want it because with the leaves, it's all focused on one spot. Mm-hmm. I want it over the entire slice. Because I think that's what makes a good pizza topping is something that can be over the entire slice. And when you go with just the leaf, it's just kind of there.
I like them fancy places where you can get like figs.
The one that I've never had, there's a pizza.
Try a fig pizza.
A fig pizza. I'll put that next to my.
Pass on the garlic pizza, but go get a fig pizza.
I'll put that next to my egg crepe next time. I'll get a fig pizza with my egg crepe. The one they have in Disney, I've not tried. It's a prosciutto, melon, and arugula. And the melon is what throws me off because I'm so anti-fruit on pizza. Yeah. But people swear by it. They say it's delicious. I just don't have any time for that. I don't know if it's like a honeydew on your pizza with arugula and prosciutto.
So you're saying you like it or you don't like it?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
You haven't tried it yet. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of them fancy pizzas. The fancy one I get has artichokes on it.
Oh, artichokes.
Yeah. It's like fontina cheese, artichoke, and some truffle oil. Yeah. I'm real bougie. So I go with that. Artichokes. So spinach, banana peppers, and what was the other one you said?
I like anchovies. I like it.
Is it the salt? Do they bring salty to it?
Yeah.
Do they put the full? Once again, is it chopped up or is it the full fish?
I don't know.
I was gonna say the full fish I couldn't eat for full fish. Yeah. If you chopped it up and put it on there, I may give it a whirl.
It's a nice enhancement.
gives that nice saltiness to it,
yeah.
a little brininess
it does
to
make
the
it
whole
salty.
thing.
Make it, it's just,
Okay.
I don't know. I like anchovies.
There, I said it.
Yeah.
That kind of, just thinking of that with pineapple on a pizza is just disgusting and scars me from pizza. To our next question from This Week in Ask Reddit. Which movie did you watch when you were, quote unquote, too young that most definitely scared the crap out of you for life? Once again, right away for me, it was Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Because I stumbled onto that one at like age 9. Horror movies were not my thing as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't a thing in our household. And I stumbled upon it, like it was like on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. And I stumbled upon that. I'm like, oh, kind of, clowns. I was right in that age where I wasn't terrified of them yet.
Right.
That movie made me terrified of them. That movie it shouldn't have scared me for life because looking back, I still to this day can't watch more than 5 minutes of it before freaking out a little bit.
Okay.
Even though it's a ridiculous movie, right? Just played for laughs more than anything else. But it scared the crap out of me as a kid. I happened upon that way too early.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what stuck with me. I saw Alien when it came out.
Ooh.
Which, gosh, I would have been 10 or 11, I think.
Okay. That could be a little jarring.
Even when Poltergeist came out, my mom took me to see that in the theater. And I was...
What?
And it was so funny because everybody else went to see E.T., which remember it came out about the same time.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about E.T., and we went to see Poltergeist. So I had no...
You're going to love this one, little Johnny. I know there's a little alien man over there that everyone's talking about, come over here and see the Poltergeist so you never want braces in your life.
So everybody's, in the cafeteria at school, everybody's talking up about how amazing E.T. was, and they're making all I have no frame of reference, but I can tell you all about Poltergeist.
That would be one.
And that's an intense movie. I think people forget.
Oh, God,
that is a...
There's a lot going on in that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Did you have the friends, though, that would boast about, I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Like in second grade, be those kids be like, what are you, a fraidy cat? I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Did they really, do you think? Or they just had an older sibling that may have seen it?
Who knows? I remember the scene in Rocky when they have to cut his eye open. Messed with me.
Yeah,
as a little kid.
That you're funny you mentioned that. There was a time because my dad was big into boxing, and we had HBO just to watch Mike Tyson fight. And there was a guy. To this day, I can say the word Terrell Biggs to my sister, and she starts to almost dry heave because it was the same thing. He had a giant, just swelling in his eyes, and they just took the razor and
my God!
I just right there in real life.
Oh my God!
And to this day, my sister, if I say, "Hey, Terrell Biggs," she can't. That was just a little bit too much for her. You know, the one that still gets me, even as an adult, that scared me, that just kind of made me feel off. The 127 hours when he starts cutting his own arm off. The guy who's was stuck there in the cavern is James Franco. And the scene where he just starts cutting his own arm. I got the cold sweats and just my wife was like, wuss. Yeah. I was like, I'm like, this is an intense scene, all right? Cut me some slack. That's intense right there. It's ridiculous. All right, so that's This Week in Reddit. Before we get out of here, though, with the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio Episode 2, welcome to the new segment, Judge Johnny.
Okay.
So,
oh yay. Court is now in session.
We don't have any cool Ali Bongo music. Maybe I'll add that in post. But I want you to judge this particular situation that arose over the weekend. So for those who had not seen, if you don't know my personal Facebook page, I had posted last weekend about meeting Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye from the Avengers, right? Well, the way it all came down, and here's the evidence for the judge to preside over. We had a late reservation at a restaurant in Chicago Cut. 9:30 reservation. It was me, my wife, a couple of our friends. We sit down. We are in the back corner of the restaurant. So the restaurant only is open, quote unquote, till 11, but I think the last seating is 10:15. So we get seated in the back corner, and to my right from where I was sitting is a very long, a bunch of tables put together. It's probably 15 people at the table. I didn't think anything of it. It's a group of people, whatever. We sit down, and so my wife's friend starts whispering to my wife. then my wife elbows me, and I was like, yeah, what's up? And she's like, well, Melissa believes that 4 chairs down on the right-hand side of that far table is Jeremy Renner. So I, casually look over my shoulder, kind of like I'm scanning. People know what you're doing, but you pretend like you're scanning the restaurant. So I scan the restaurant. And
but really what you're saying is you stood on the chair and was looking over everybody's heads, right?
Right. That's exactly what I was doing. So I kind of do the nonchalant turn, be like, oh, maybe I need to read the specials board, which, by the way, is right in front of me, but I'm looking at the one farthest away. And so I turn back around. I'm like, yeah, that's Jeremy Renner. So now we know that Jeremy Renner is there. And so I'm just kind of like, all right, let's just go with it. My other friend, he works in the industry in Chicago. He's seen celebrities, whatever. And he's like, oh, I've dealt with that. We'll just enjoy the meal. And we do. Every once in a while, although our one friend is like, I do need an Instagram video of dinner with my friends, and we'll kind of do a cheers, and then we'll pan to him real quick, but I'm taking a picture. So we do that. So we're sitting there. And at one point, someone has to get up and use the restroom. Like, should I say anything to Jeremy? I'm like, no, he's at the table. You don't bother him at the table. Mm-hmm. So at one point, one of the patrons there, a kid with special needs, comes up, and Jeremy Renner takes a picture with him for obvious reasons. Good dude. The entire restaurant cheers, so they know he's there, right? So we get to the end of the night, and
then you're like, I wear glasses. I have special needs.
Exactly.
What about me?
Not only have the glasses, but it's progressive now, which is kind of like bifocal, so I'm even more special now. So we get to the end of the night. We haven't said anything. They're starting to clear out their table. We're the only tables left in the restaurant, right? We've had a great meal. And so we're sitting there, and he is literally maybe 5 feet behind me talking to a couple of friends. So our friend goes, hey, you know what? We should cheers to Jeremy Renner. It's like, just see what happens. Just cheers to Jeremy Renner. We're like, all right, what's the worst that's going to happen? He just acknowledges us and goes away. So we're like, all right, 1, 2, 3, cheers, Jeremy Renner. He turns around and goes, cheers to me? Mm-hmm. We're like, yeah, cheers to you. What? Why you cheers to me? We're like, big fans of Hawkeye, the show, loved it, was a really nice addition to holiday season. So he comes walking over, and he's like, that's really nice of you to say. And he's like, so you're just celebrating me? Anything else going on here? And my wife goes, well, it's my husband's birthday. And I shit you not, Johnny. He goes, well, what are you cheers me for, fuckhead? It's your birthday. And in my mind, I go, Hawkeye called me fuckhead. This is the greatest story ever told.
Yeah.
So my wife at that point goes, do you think maybe for his birthday you? Renner goes, sure. Now, Renner's had a few. He's also enjoyed a nice meal at this particular establishment. So we get the picture, say, thank you very much, and he goes back to talk to his friends. And then you
immediately sent it to TMZ and said, he touched me. He put his arm around me.
So then we get done with that. We sit down, and my wife being my wife, and she did it as a joke, but when you say something like this to me, I'm going to follow through. She's like, wow, that was a really cool experience. Wouldn't it have been great if we all would have been able to get a picture with Jeremy Renner? And so he's still standing behind us.
Right.
So I go, all right. So I turn around, I'm like, hey.
Because now you're on a first swear name basis with him.
Yes. When someone's called me fuckhead, I feel like we have an accord.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, hey, Jeremy, I'm like, I realized my wife made it known to me. I kind of monopolized our time with you. Would you mind taking a picture with some other people in the group? He's like, no, it's fine. So I asked one of his sober friends, I'm like, is this really okay? He's like, hey, 1 picture, 1,000 pictures. There's nobody else here. It's fine.
Right.
So he takes pictures with us, and then he's still just chatting with us. And at one point, he grabs my hand. And we have video. My wife took video of this. He grabs my hand out on the table, gets his glasses out, and just starts staring at my hand. He's like, let me see the other one. Now, I understand that he's trying to figure out how old I am by my hands.
Okay.
Everyone else at the table, though, is thinking that he's Hawkeye and he's going to grab a steak knife and do the
which would be awesome, but right.
Yeah, but he's a little inebriated. It was him trying to guess my age, and he thought 36. And I was like, I'm
kidding.
Yeah, and I go 45, and he goes, that's fantastic. He's like, you're doing something good. So
I use Jergens.
Yeah, exactly. I moisturize. I have a routine, paraffin, if you want to look into it.
I dip into the ponds at night and rub that all over.
So long story short, he hung out about 25 minutes and then left. So my question to the Judge Johnny is, did we handle the situation appropriately in order to get his attention in the first place?
I think you handled it in a very creative way.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's infinitely better than just busting into his group and saying, "Hey, I want a picture. Can I get an autograph? Hey, and this one's for my nephew." And this,
Right.
That's so you found a creative in.
Thank you. That's
which it sounds like he appreciated.
And to your point on that, he actually at one point thanked us for how tactful we were in initiating the conversation.
Yeah. And you know what? And if he would have just, acknowledged you guys and gave a wave,
that's all we wanted.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So no, I think that was fine. Don't ever do that again. You got one shot.
That was my
can't
one.
Never do that again. But yeah, it's it's kind of like that Nashville rule that they have. Because there's always when you're in Nashville, there's you're tripping over country stars.
Right. Yeah.
And there's sort of this general rule of, yes, they're here, but or even in Austin sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So many celebrities live in Austin now, and there's just this sort of yes, that is who you think it is. Just go on with your day,
Yeah.
And that just out of a courtesy, it's just sort of an accepted rule of the area,
Right.
And so I think in most cases that's probably the right thing to do. But I think not. But I commend, even in the inebriated state, that you and your friends figured out a unique in that wasn't. That he could have just easily acknowledged and waved.
Right.
He appreciated it.
We didn't like come up to him with the glasses. We were just at our table. He's within earshot. And to your point, we weren't expecting anything else. We're like, at least we would get an acknowledgement. And we let him know that we knew he was there without bringing attention to it. So
now, if he would have just come to your table and said, "What the hell? Don't you guys want a picture with me, Jeremy Renner?" I would have said, "Jeremy, that's not cool.
No.
You need to move along."
Exactly.
I'm here with my wife. It's my birthday. Please
shove
along.
Please, Hawkeye. Out of all the Avengers that you only got a spin-off TV show, you haven't had your own movie yet. So
Don't
please
you have an Uber to catch?
Exactly. So, well, thank you, Judge Johnny, for letting me know that, because I'm always, me, afterwards I'm always like, did I handle that the right way? But I felt that was, to your point, creative, and it allowed for him to do what he wanted to do with it.
Correct.
It didn't make him feel like he was like, oh no, if I say no now, then I'm a dick. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we just kind of gave him that out.
It's better than the time, and not that I'm a celebrity, but there was the time that I was at Baskin Robbins with my daughters, and somebody came up to tell me how much they enjoyed my Deja Vu commercials.
Oh yeah, you got to know the time and place.
You could have just said commercials. You didn't have to. You didn't have to specify it was for the strip club in front of my young daughters.
Yes. So, well, thank you. I'm glad that I passed. Judge Johnny has ruled, and so if you have anything that you would like Judge Johnny to rule upon, you can always, message us, send us a message on Facebook or wherever it may be. And who knows, maybe your dilemma and your case can show up on the Too Good for Radio podcast. Appreciate you tuning in. Once again, visit our sponsors.
Do we have an end song or something? Like
we should.
Thanks for being here with us on this podcast. I don't know. We need some sort of a. I'm so glad we had this time together, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But better than I love you, you love me. We don't want it to be that annoying, but we want exactly.
Anyway, thanks for whatever you did with this podcast.
Yes, see you real. Hopefully, it wherever you're waiting in line or whatever drive it was made it somewhat enjoyable.